these are issues that show we're failing pretty bad.
No, I agree.
What do you think is the best way to remedy that?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I failed. I sat on a Science Council of Canada board committee that said every child from kindergarten to grade 12 should have 1 hour of science every day of their school career. And we showed that it could be afforded, it could be done, and it went nowhere. But I think if we're talking about becoming scientifically literate, we talk about the 3 R's. Science, how can a child today think of growing up in a world of iPods and all this stuff, not be scientifically literate?
I'm a biologist.
So it's got to be coming through this. But I think the most critical part is K to 4. It ought to be an important part of where children grow up and learn.
And in Ontario, they don't even have to be qualified.
Sorry?
To get them curious from an early age.
And I think, to me, as an environmentalist, it's important that they learn to love nature. But if you look at what happens to kids at home, a child comes home with a bottle with some insects. My bet is 9 times out of 10, the mother or father says, "Get that out of here, don't bring it in the house." And we teach children to be afraid of nature, right from the beginning. I can't believe the number of families, they see an ant in the house, people go nuts. What's wrong with an ant in the house? You know, like, we've got to start realizing we're biological creatures, we're animals. And that as animals, we're as dependent on the air, the water, and the soil as any other creature.
Why do you think that people do have such a tendency towards ignorance? Is it just easier, or is it just...
I don't know. I have no idea. I think we don't see the world as it really is. We live in a world in which air, water, and soil are what keep us alive. And yet we treat air, water, and soil as a garbage can. There's something fundamentally wrong with an animal that is smart enough to know that we all breathe the air. Whatever we put in the air, we're going to put in our bodies. And yet we dump all our crap into the air. Now you tell me what's wrong. I don't know. We don't see the world as it really is. We're not being taught. You know, I tell children, when you turn on the tap in Toronto and take a drink of water, it comes out of Lake Ontario. When you flush the toilet, guess where that toilet goes? It goes out to Lake Ontario. So we ought to start thinking in terms of our being a part of a bigger system. And the solution to that is not buying bottled water. Bottled water is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, and it's terrible. And anyway, but we've got to start thinking about a bigger world that we live in.